Welcome to the Disturbance, hosted by Dave DeVaugh.
Coming up on the Daily Disturbance, we explore why Adam Gase is such a horrific head coach in the National Football League. I've actually coined the phrase, he's the king of player alienation. We've got that, plus Melvin Gorden actually gets a DUI in the era of Uber and Lyft, and the Buffalo Bills actually lost to a team that had not basically practiced in 2 weeks because of the COVID virus, 42-16. I've got all of that, and trust me, a whole lot more coming up on the big show. Now, I am Dave DeVaugh. You've tuned into the Daily Disturbance. It is October 14th, a Wednesday of the year 2020, and this is our episode number 4. Now, these shows are about 10 to 15 minutes in length, so let's go ahead and dive into what needs to get done. And what needs to get done today is a real discussion with the New York Jets front office and the New York Jets ownership group to try to explore why Adam Gase is still their head coach. Now, on Tuesday night, in the middle of Tuesday night football, now that the NFL is basically on as much as Major League Baseball is during the regular season, there's literally a football game every night, which isn't such a bad thing, but it's a bad thing for all the wrong reasons. That being said, there's a Tuesday night football game going on between Adam Gase's former starting quarterback in Miami, Ryan Tannehill, who, by the way, had a quarterback rating last night of 129. He is a completely different quarterback if you look at how he's played for the Tennessee Titans since he got out of that horrific shadow of Adam Gase. So what do the Jets do? They go ahead and they release Le'Veon Bell. Now, Le'Veon Bell reportedly had been on the trading block for well over 12 months. 12 months he was on the trading block. And I'll tell you right now why nobody picked up Le'Veon Bell. It had something to do with an extraordinarily large contract. So that's why Le'Veon didn't get picked. I'm sure he'll get picked up by somebody else. Most likely, I mean, it's such a Bill Belichick thing to do to pick up a guy like Le'Veon Bell. But I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but we'll see what happens with him. Anyways, so Adam Gase makes the decision to go ahead and get rid of Le'Veon Bell shortly after Le'Veon got in trouble with the Jets organization for basically liking a couple posts on Twitter that said Le'Veon wasn't getting the ball enough. Now, the world has definitely changed a lot in the last, 10 years. And the fact that a running back, especially a high-profile running back like Le'Veon Bell, a player that before his departure from Pittsburgh was certainly on a trajectory path, basically, to have a shot, to at least have a shot at making the Hall of Fame, that has been completely wiped out by Adam Gase. Look, Adam Gase, the king of player alienation, has gotten rid of Robbie Anderson, who now is extraordinarily successful in Carolina with the Carolina Panthers team that actually, quite frankly, doesn't really have a strong offensive line. Robbie Anderson in 2019, under the guidance of Adam Gase, caught the ball 52 times. Through 5 weeks in this National Football League season, Robbie Anderson's already received the ball 36 times. I am just saying Robbie Anderson could not wait to get out of New York. Speaking of that, we had the whole Jamal Adams thing go down. But, you sort of look at all of these high-profile players, Jarvis Landry back in Miami. You look at all of these, and there's another 10 players that we could actually probably mention. If you look at this just litter of National Football League players that couldn't wait to get out of the shadow of Adam Gase, you really have to understand Did the New York Jets not do any due diligence before they hired Adam Gase literally 2 weeks after he was fired by the Miami Dolphins? And then once they had Adam Gase there, what is it that they've seen out of Adam Gase as a head coach in this National Football League that leads this New York Jets organization to believe that Adam Gase is going to do anything positive for this team at all? The only thing that Adam Gase at this point can actually bring to the table for the New York Football Jets is the fact that he's ruined Sam Darnold, and they might actually have a shot at Joey Lawrence coming out of Trevor Lawrence, that is, coming out of the upcoming or coming into the upcoming National Football League draft. So you've got all of that going on with Adam Gase. Now, Adam Gase started his head coaching career out with a bang. He was 10-6 with the Dolphins, and since then it's been all downhill. 2017, 6-10. 2018, 7-9. He basically gets canned by the Dolphins. And what do the Jets do? They say, oh, we liked the performance of that head coach those last 2 years in Miami. Let's go ahead and give him a contract. And what do they get out of their first year? They get a bunch of high-profile players on that New York Football Jets team that couldn't wait to get out of Dodge. That is what they got. 7-9 in the first season, and get this, a very Dan Quinn 0-5. That is where the New York Football Jets are at this point. If you are a Jets fan, you have officially hit that level of hopelessness. Literally, if the New York Jets had an opportunity at this point, if you were able to survey this New York Jets football team, and if you said to them, you can go ahead and opt out now for COVID, do you think like 80% of that National Football League team would go ahead and say, you know, the hell with it. Let's just go ahead and let's just opt out for the rest of the season because we aren't going anywhere with Adam Gase as our head coach. It is so blatantly obvious to everybody in North America except for the people that are in charge of that New York Jets organization. All right, so a couple other quick stories I wanted to get to today before we get out of here on the Daily Disturbance. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the show, please go ahead and subscribe to the show. We are trying to build it up. So go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button when you have a chance. That being said, Melvin Gordon, good old Melvin Gordon of the Denver Broncos, does the unthinkable last night and actually gets into a car and drives while intoxicated. Now, the story hasn't really been released yet. There was this rumor going around this afternoon that he was actually going to help somebody and there was some kid that needed help, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line here is that you're in the middle of a National Football League season, in the middle of a pandemic, and you're getting behind the wheel intoxicated when Uber and Lyft services are available at your fingertip. They are literally, Melvin, I'm telling you right now, they are literally 5 minutes away to drive you from point A to point B. This DUI, among all other DUIs that happen these days, make absolutely no sense. Look, I know the Broncos haven't gotten off to the kind of start that you had hoped for, Melvin, but now you're going to have to go back into the NFL COVID protocol for probably 10 days. And it's just an absolutely horrific, ridiculous thing for Melvin Gordon to do at this point. And finally, there's all of this talk in the National Football League this year about who should be your most valuable player of the NFL. Now, we're going to do another show on this another day. I'm sure we'll do plenty of them. You know, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and then the dark horse for most of that discussion through the first 5 weeks of this National Football League season has been Josh Allen. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, Josh Allen this, Josh Allen that. Josh Allen had his first 350-yard passing game this year. Justin Herbert has already done that, and he just started in the National Football League. Josh Allen did this. Josh Allen did that. I'll tell you what Josh Allen did on Tuesday Night Football. He went in to Tennessee against a team that had not practiced in not 1, but 2 weeks and lost. I don't know if they were underestimating Mike Vrabel as a head coach, which nobody should do. I mean, if you look at what Mike Vrabel did with this Tennessee Titan team in the playoffs last year, I rest my case when we're talking about Mike Vrabel as a head coach. So for the Titans to actually sort of show up and play the way they played didn't surprise me. But what did surprise me was how bad Josh Allen actually looked throughout portions of this football game. Last time I checked, the Tennessee Titans don't have the best defense in the National Football League. Josh Allen went 26 for 41, 263 yards passing, 2 TDs, but the problem was he completed 2 passes to Tennessee Titan players. And when you're a quarterback on the road in the National Football League and you're supposed to be an MVP caliber quarterback, you just can't do that. Look, up next for the Buffalo Bills is another real test. They get Patrick Mahomes at home on Monday Night Football. And so we'll wait and see. I'm not going to say, go ahead and abandon all of those Buffalo Bills winning the NFC or the AFC East scenarios. I'm not going to say any of that. Let's just wait and see what happens with this Buffalo Bills team. But I suspect that when we talk about the Bills next Tuesday night, we will be talking about how the Bills have lost 2 games in a row, and Josh Allen will be one of the key reasons that actually happens. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please go ahead and subscribe to the big show. We are trying to do these shows on a daily basis. The drops on them are usually anywhere between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. at night. You have tuned in to the Daily Disturbance. For the Daily Disturbance, I am Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a fantastic rest of your sports day.
The Disturbance is a production of